Welcome my friends, this is Maniacal Incorporated, and if you're watching this video on the day that it goes out, Lo e la Podrig Ma, a happy St. Patrick's Day to you. With St. Patrick's Day falling slap bang in the middle of March, the entire month is Irish American Heritage Month in the United States. So I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to look at a game based in the United States in Chicago, which includes a number of fictional and historical Irish and Irish American characters, and that is Empire of Sin, made by Romero Games in County Galway. So I'm going to take a look at the story of Frankie Donovan. How unique, how novel. It's not like there's 20 other playthroughs of Frankie Donovan online or on YouTube, but I am going to do something interesting. I hope. I'm going to try anyway. When the Irish began to arrive in the United States in massive numbers, effectively economic refugees in the aftermath of the Great Hunger of the 1840s and the 1850s, they were predominantly poor, uneducated Roman Catholics. And they were viewed with some suspicion by this new society that they were entering, and they were desperate for work. They would take some of the worst, some of the most dangerous jobs, and if you were looking to hire somebody and you put up a hiring notice, you were going to be flooded with applications from Irish people. So what some people would do is they would append to the hiring notices, "No Irish need apply." I actually saw one that said positively, "No Irish need apply." So I'm going to turn that on its head for this playthrough. I am going to do an only Irish need apply playthrough. In Empire of Sin, you can hire gangsters for your crew, and I am only going to hire Irish and Irish American gangsters. Some of them will have missions and stories that we can take a look at. Some of them affect Ireland or are impacted by Ireland, and some of them then just have backstories that reference the old country. So yeah, for today I am going to start a playthrough as Frankie Donovan. So we'll head for a new game.
The name's Frank, but you
And
can call me Mr. Reagan.
Mr. Reagan, I am so terribly sorry. I was just about to cut across him there. We start slap bang in the middle of the Irish contingent. What we can actually do, there's a couple of Irish and Irish American gangsters. What we can do is take a look at
We're taking over.
Mabel Riley from Cork. So she is a fictional character that's been added to the game. Swindler's Shot is a fantastic ability.
I'm your man, Frank Reagan.
Then we have Mr. Frank Reagan, in case you didn't hear. A real Irish-American gangster who was the head of Reagan's Colts. They were involved in the circulation wars in the early 1900s. So newspapers would hire members of the criminal underworld to basically terrorize newsagents and newsboys and make them stock their newspapers. And there was a big battle between William Randolph Hearst, who I think Reagan started working for and then defected to the Tribune, the Chicago Tribune, when that started offering more money, and the other Irish American,
Let's do some business together.
Dean O'Banion. He was also involved in the circulation wars. O'Banion is a fascinating character, and if I don't get through all the characters with Frankie Donovan, I might very well take a look at Dean O'Banion. And then we have the man himself,
So, what's the crack?
Frankie Donovan of the Donovans. Frankie sorry, I was just getting distracted. That brooch is a bit much. Sorry, I was a bit distracted there by his brooch. Frankie Donovan is a fictional character from Ireland. He is based on, well, he's not based on, but he's loosely based on Brenda Romero's great-grandfather, Paddy Donovan. And you can see there he is armed with what has been at various points in time described as a shillelagh. I saw one playthrough it was referred to as a cricket bat. God help us, you Americans. If it's not a baseball racket, you don't know what it is. There's a bit of debate over what exactly he's holding. Some people say it's a hurl. Some people say it's a hurley. Definitively, it's a come on. I'm going to be calling it a come on, mainly in this playthrough anyway. And you can see that one of Frankie Donovan's, there he is. Oh, he's admiring it. He heard us talking about it. He's looking at us. His ability is that he can basically batter the living daylights out of people with it. And if he manages to kill them, then he gets all of his actions back, and he gets to go again. He's a violent man. He's a violent man. His come on has a nickname. It is called Machara Biog. My small friend. There it is there. There's his small friend. I think it's a reference to a movie or something. So we see his boss abilities, his empire bonuses. So he's able to get a better production rate on breweries, and word of mouth is cheaper on speakeasies. And then if he goes to war with somebody and they have a fight, he can basically the negative effects wear off quicker. So before I start into this playthrough, there's just 1 or 2 points to make. The first thing I suppose is you'll see up here in the top of the screen, it says beta update. Unfortunately, when Empire of Sin came out, first of all, back in December, it was a bit of a bug-addled mess. We do have to admit, it was a bit of a bug-addled mess. The dev team has been doing a fantastic job on sorting all that out. They've now opened up a beta branch, I suppose you could call it, that people can opt into, and they can playtest some of the changes that are coming down the line. The devs have done a tremendous job in balancing the game, and I like a lot of what's been added in the most recent patch, so I'm going to play on the beta update. There is a chance that we might get some bugs, there's a chance that we might get some missions mightn't be able to be completed because of bugs. Hopefully not any of the big missions, but just to be warned that might happen. Now, probably the biggest warning is if you are not a fan of foul language, this might not be a great playthrough to watch. The amount of language that's going to be coming out of his mouth, not me, this lad, the amount of language that's going to be coming out of his mouth, and the caliber of language, I mean, it's not going to be mild. There's going to be a lot of...
The F word, father. The bad F word. Worse than feck. You know the one I mean.
So like I said, just as a warning, there's quite a lot of foul language in this game, and it mightn't be up to your taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. So I'll click confirm, and we can now pick the neighborhoods, enemy factions. I don't want to be here for the rest of my life, so I'm going to put it down to 4 neighborhoods and 6 enemy factions. I'm going to leave the difficulty on Lieutenant. Once upon a time, that was abysmal. It was way too easy, and now I'm actually finding it a serious challenge. So we're going to see. We're going to start in and see how we do as Frankie Donovan. Frankie Donovan arrives in Chicago. St. Patrick's Day. He meets Andy, the bartender, in the back room of the Irish bar, the Dusty Tabernacle.
I hear you've been looking for me, Paddy.
Oh Jesus, I forgot about that brooch. So this is Andy. We have some options that we can say back to him. We're going to hear some fantastic voice acting from Frankie Donovan. I think everyone's heard it by now, but it's one of the devs, one of the game's devs who contributed placeholder dialogue or placeholder voice acting, and everyone afterwards was just like, no, we have to keep him in, and in fairness, it's fantastic. We'll go with the angry response.
Who are you calling a Paddy, you Mick?
Andy is my name. Your brooch is a bit much, in my opinion.
Andy, I was saying the exact same thing. I'm glad I'm not the only one that is distracted by that brooch. My mother gave it to me. Reminds me of home. I don't know about that.
Gave it to me. Reminds me of home.
It'd do that all right. Did she give you the black eye as well?
Not this one, but she's a hardy woman. I'd say so.
Not this one. But she's a hardy woman. I wouldn't cross her in a hurry.
Well, you're a long way from home now. Do you have a place to stay yet? There's a boarding house a few blocks south of here. I can give you the name.
So we can either tell him that we have lodgings, or we can get a bit suspicious of him. We'll tell him we have lodgings. We're
I
looking
have
for work.
lodgings. It's work I'm after.
Do you have a trade?
Some skills with a hammer. He looks like a man that's got a hammering. I'm looking to make some money.
I'm looking to make some money. Chicago seems like the place to do it. Then I can hire tradesmen to do the dirty work for me.
It's a fine place to make a home, all right. 'Tis a far cry from Kilmaine. And I suppose you're looking to avoid a chat with His Majesty's people too, eh? No need to be coy, Frankie boy.
So, of course, His Majesty's people is a reference to the British monarchy, or to the British Army. We're going to see some of Frankie's backstory being revealed now. I don't know what the insinuation is there. Are they like, could they deport him or extradite him to Britain? How much do you know?
How much do you know?
I've been waiting to see you since you waded ashore. Frankie Donovan fought in the Rising, absconded across the Atlantic to avoid going up against the wall. I heard you were arrested for loitering and sauntering in Boston.
He loves his loitering and sauntering. So we see a bit now about Frankie Donovan. He apparently fought in the 1916 Rising, Easter week of 1916. There was an insurrection against British rule in Dublin. It was put down pretty quickly. 14 men were executed in Dublin. One was executed in Cork, and then another, Roger Casement, was hanged in Pentonville Prison later on in the year. So to avoid being, I suppose, victim number 17 of the executions, Frankie seems to have fled across the Atlantic. And then he was arrested for loitering and sauntering. I'm not too sure what that's a reference to. I know loitering and sauntering were actual offences, I suppose you could call them, in many American cities. Possibly still are in some cities, but the quotations, I'm wondering if it's code for something else. We were framed. I weren't loitering nowhere.
I was framed.
I'm sorry about your brother Tom. I heard he died in the fighting.
So as the story goes on, we're not going to learn really much about Tom, but we're going to find out that both himself and Frankie were based in the General Post Office during Easter week, which is basically where the headquarters of the provisional government was for the majority of the time. Frankie has become disillusioned with the cause. We're going to see that. The cause is kind of a reference to the Republican struggle. He's become disillusioned. So we have either ... or it was what he wanted. I'm going to say that, but I don't know if that's how Frankie really feels.
It was what he wanted.
Are you still looking to help the cause?
So like I said, Frankie seems to have become rather disillusioned. If the cause will help me for a change, or I'll do what I have to get where I want to go. So the cause is a reference to the Republican campaign during the War of Independence, the Republican side of the conflict during the Troubles in Northern Ireland as well, from the 1960s to the 1990s. It's still used in a number of kind of, I don't know what you'd say, informal contexts, but it was also, interestingly enough, what many Unionists and Loyalists refer to as their cause, the cause to keep Ireland, or to prevent Home Rule from being introduced in Ireland, and to keep Ireland in the United Kingdom. So a lot of people were referring to the cause around this time. I'll do what I have to, if it gets me where I want to go.
I'll do what I have to if it gets me where I want to go.
A man after my own heart. Come here then. There'll be a fella coming over from home in a few weeks about a crate of Tommy guns for the lads at home. He'll have the other half of this $5 bill, and you'll have to mind him while he's here. Should you be like a native then yourself?
So there's a couple of things there. I suppose we'll say the lads back home. That would be a reference to the Irish Republican Army, as the Irish Volunteers have rebranded themselves. If he fought on the Republican side, then Frankie Donovan would have been a member of the Irish Volunteers during Easter week. And they're now the IRA, fighting the War of Independence since early 1919, effectively January of 1919, but it really starts to escalate from January of 1920 onwards. Tommy guns were actually used in the Irish War of Independence. A small shipment was brought into Ireland by 2 Irish-American soldiers in the US Army. They brought across a small shipment in May of 1921, and these were tested in Dublin in the presence of Michael Collins, the Director of Intelligence of the Irish Republican Army, amongst other titles. And the first person to fire one in testing was Tom Barry, a famous guerrilla leader from County Cork. At this point in time, so March, St. Patrick's Day, 1920, Eamon de Valera, the president of the separatist parliament, Dáil Éireann, he is in the United States of America. He was one of 3 US citizens to be sentenced to death for his role in the 1916 Rising. Tom Clark was the first to be executed, and the other 2, de Valera and Diarmaid Lynch, their death sentences were commuted to life in prison. So Lynch was actually deported to the United States in, I think, 1918. So both himself and de Valera are now in the United States. De Valera is trying to gain recognition for the Irish Republic. He's also collecting money. By the end of the year, he will have raised $5 million, equivalent to about $60 million in today's money. So you could argue that the Irish Revolution is one of the best financed. Thompson guns at the time cost $200. So that is a lot of Tommy guns. Now, there was a larger shipment supposed to come into Ireland, but it was seized by US Customs, so it didn't make it. It did make it, but that's a story for a different day. So, small shipment arrives in May. July, the truce is signed, so they're not really used in combat, they're used in 1 or 2 missions, and they don't really do very well. People don't know how to use them, they're using them at great distance, and they're not using them very well. But the point about de Valera is de Valera and Harry Boland, who is a representative of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, a secret society. He's also in the United States, and it's Boland who would have handled the purchase and the shipping of the weapons. But for the purposes of the story, somebody is coming over from Ireland, somebody I'm sure Frankie will recognise. But so we have this kind of shtick about a $5 bill. But Irish America plays a massive role in the 1916 Rising and the War of Independence. Basically, Clon na Gael, an Irish-American organisation, financed the 1916 Rising, and they're also playing a heavy role in providing financing for the Dáil bond, for getting this $5 million together. There's going to be a bit of a falling out between de Valera and the American faction, but Irish America plays a big role, and we're not going to see that in any of these missions because we have somebody coming over from Ireland totally writing out the Irish-American contribution, which is a pity. So what am I supposed to do in the meantime?
Okay. What do I do in the meantime?
We need a place to store the guns, and there's a few fellas setting up a speak the next street over. Far be it from me to interfere with free market capitalism and the great American experiment, but fuck them. I want them gone. 2 birds, 1 stone. You clear them out, and maybe you can set up a brewery to hide the weapons. And I'll give you cash for the public service.
So, Andy has given us a bit of a mission. He doesn't like the competition, wants them taken out. And he's willing to give us cash. That's no good to us. I don't want cash. I want cash. So, what we're going to do is we're going to try and use our persuasion to get him to give us cash instead.
Sounds like a lot of work. But give me cash, and I might be able for it.
All right. Christ almighty. Only because of your work for the Republic.
Nicely done. So, he offered us cash, we turned him down, we demanded cash instead, and we got it. They do have to kind of abstract some of the names and some of the offers. So, we succeeded there. You saw that our persuasion went up by 1. There's a kind of an RPG element. You have all these different stats. There's intimidation, leadership, persuasion, probably more. Then you have your own personal stats like melee and marksmanship. So our persuasion has gone up because we succeeded. And now, because of our work for the Republic, which could, because of the way it's capitalized, be a newspaper, which was published, I think there was like 1 or 2 issues published in 1906. It later becomes unpublished. So let's shake
on it, so.
Fucking hell. You'll fit right in Chicago.
See ya when I see ya.
See you when I see you.
So there across the bottom of the screen, it's giving us some advice about upgrading the ambiance. Frankie finds himself on the streets of Chicago, streets that will soon belong to him. So here he is. We're into the 18th of March, 1920, 101 years ago. Now I should point out the game isn't, when I say it's not historically accurate, it's not like, we'll say, CK3 or something like that, where the conditions are historically accurate to the start date. The devs are going more for kind of a zeitgeist, a feeling, a spirit of the age of the gang wars. So one of the things we're going to see is that Thompson submachine guns are quite prevalent in this game. However, they don't become popular until after 1925. But here, it's 1920, and they're readily available. So the first thing we do is we come up to the black book, up on the top left-hand corner, where we can hire gangsters for our crew. We can hire up to 10. And you see they all have a number under them. We have a couple of zeros, we have a 45, we have a 666. And that's the notoriety that we need before we can hire that person. And once we reach that notoriety, they become available to hire. But we see this person here requires a upfront fee of 77,000 to join us. And then they will take about $1,500 every week in payment. So it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of notoriety before we get up around this end. However, there's a few down here that we start with for... they're always 0, these first 5. And then this guy has been randomly set as a 0. Throughout the game, some of these people are just going to randomly become available. But one that is of interest to us is Dr. Nora Quinn, medicine woman.
Hello there.
And she's Irish, because it tells us in her biography. Like I said, I'm only going to be hiring Irish and Irish-American gangsters. Some of them, like Nora, it tells us in their biography that they are Irish or Irish-American. For some, then...
How you doing?
Such as Dr. Natalie Warren. It tells us nothing in the bio, but in the game files, it actually states that she is Irish-American. That's something that's not actually shown in the game. And then for a couple of people, it says nothing in the bio. It says nothing in the game files, but we know, because they are historical characters, that in this case, Frank McCurlin is an Irish-American gangster, and it was Frank who carried out the first really big, really popular attack, if that's the way you can put it, with a Thompson submachine gun. On the 25th of September 1925, he attempted to kill another Irish-American gangster called Spike O'Donnell of the Southside O'Donnells. And this was the event that kind of sparked off the use of the Thompson submachine gun in the gang wars. So he is pricey. 16 grand to hire and 380 notoriety. We might see him. But like I said, we're going to start off with Nora. And then from there, our next options are...
The pleasure is all mine.
Cyril McRae. And...
Good to meet you.
Clyde Two-Ton Malone. So they are on 45 each. We'll probably start. We'll hire Cyril first and then Clyde. But for now,
Hi.
we will hire Nora. She immigrated from Ireland when she was 16. She got her medical degree, but somebody framed her. She was framed for administering too much medication to a patient, a hostile gambit, which ultimately cost the patient his life. And she is looking to avenge that slight against her. So we're told then a bit about her background and a couple of traits. But we're going to see her mission, once she becomes loyal, is based around getting revenge for being framed.
Of course.
So, 3 grand to hire her. We confirm that she will research a new talent. We get to pick one trait or talent from each of these tiers. So for tier 1, we're going to go for heal.
Oh, good.
And you can see down here then she has relationships with people. So she loves Ray Monks. She absolutely hates, and this is rather unfortunate, Dale Mahan. I don't know if we can see him.
How are ye?
But Dale is another Irish character. He is the only definitive Irish or Irish-American character who is a demolitionist. So Nora will not work with him. That might cause problems. We'd want to get up to that level of notoriety first of all. That's a problem for tomorrow. And before I forget, because I will, we can actually come here. And Frankie also has a trait. Frankie also has a trait to upgrade. Where is it gone to? There we go. So I'm going to give him Survivor because I'm really bad at this game. If Frankie, regardless of the amount of damage you take, you are now guaranteed to bleed out. So he'll have 4 rounds to be stabilized instead of just dying flat out. It's not very inspiring when I'm taking traits like that at the very start, is it? So we can zoom out for a minute. It's not looking... I don't know what way it's looking. We've been dropped slap bang in the middle of Fulton Market. So there's a couple of areas around here where, oh boys, we're way isolated from everyone else. So we're up in Fulton Market. We're slap bang in the middle of the place. That might make it a bit more difficult to defend. And we can see that there is another faction. It looks like another faction. We'll probably end up meeting them shortly. We have a place we can buy. At least one place we can take over. These green buildings are ours. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the gang together. And we're going to wait to get a mission to go and attack a brewery. There we go. And we're off in this direction. Let's see where we're going. We're a good bit away.
It's already done.
So we're just coming around the corner. This is the building we have been told by Andy to take. And there's some thugs out the front of it.
I'm on it.
We'll talk to them. Hey, welcome. We're not ready to open up yet, but if you come back in a week, you'll find the best speak in town. Wait. You're not a cop, are you? Because legally, if I was a cop, I would have to tell him. American accent. So this would be a fantastic chance to get revenge on all the American YouTubers who put on Irish accents when talking as Frankie Donovan. I won't. I am Officer Donovan. You're all in serious trouble. Where's your feckin' badge then? So we could either begin combat or try and intimidate him. Let's try that. So we succeed. Our intimidation skill goes up 1. And he wants to know, is there anything we can do to smooth it over? We could either, again, begin combat, or tell him to empty his pockets. He has only $100. I guess it'll have to do. Close call. Thanks, officer. Go on, get. So we're making money like mad, just by bullying people. So we're going to attack this derelict building, and we're going to convert it into a brewery if we are able to defeat whoever is in here. So we have... this is a new thing that's been introduced on the beta branch. It's one of the reasons. I think it's only just recently been introduced. It gives us the option to auto-resolve, a 51% to resolve, because sometimes you do end up in battles where it's just a waste of time going through it because you're going to absolutely hammer the people you're fighting, or it's a waste of time because you're going to get destroyed. So now there's that auto-resolve, but it also lets you see the facial hair of the people you're fighting. Very important. I'm going to fight this one so that we can see Frankie Donovan's abilities. Now, there's a bit of mobility on Frankie. Do you know what we could do? I didn't actually spot those guys in this room as well. What's the order? I think what I'll do is we will use Unleash Fury on this guy. And now what we get to do is we get to actually place where Frankie goes, and he can only stand in these areas, which is a pity. I was hoping we could actually get him back here and get him some cover. You know what we'll do? We'll go to here.
I'm on it.
That's what we'll do.
Come here to me.
So if Frankie succeeds on killing somebody with his Unleash Fury. He becomes exhausted. It drops the success chance, so I think there was a 73% success chance to hit that guy. He made 3 attacks against him, 2 of them hit. We could go again, but you can see now, because he's exhausted, the success chance has dropped to 59. I think the damage has dropped a small bit as well. It's now 29 to 34, 3 times, and there's bonus damage as well. The bonus damage was definitely 10-10 for the first one, so the handy thing about Unleash Fury is if you manage to kill somebody with it, you get your full action back. If you don't, your turn ends and there's a 6-turn countdown. That was a very good move by Frankie. So he has just taken out 2 people in 1 turn. We're going to get Nora over to here. She can't stand up. Oh, she can. So she's here and she has no line of sight on anybody. So Overwatch on the door. And now it's the enemy turn. Oh, she missed. So there's a little animation that's been added by Frankie to tell us that he is exhausted, the Crather. Let's see if we could get...
Right away.
We could get him in here. God, he loves that hurling.
Come here to me.
So, oh, he missed with the 2 of them. Nora should be in a position. I don't know. Oh, I made Nora move too far. So again, you have a kind of a range of motion that they can move through. We did manage to hunt them out of their spots though, so that was good. Yeah, that was good. The 52 on that guy. So if we move her to here, it'll take up 1 of her action points. If we move her to the yellow area, it'll take up 2 of them. I will move her to here. I told you I was terrible at this game. Not enough to kill him. Not enough to kill him. Frankie is in wide open space, so he's in a bit of trouble. And this guy is moving to flank Nora. We can get Frankie up here. So this is what a lot of the game is running from cover to cover.
Take that, you fucking gobshite.
And if we're in luck, we're not. And she's now in the wide open area.
Knock him around.
Okay, so Frankie needs 2. Let's punch him in the face.
On it.
Oh, Frankie, you're breaking my heart. Ah, Frankie, you're breaking my heart. And you see, he's breaking your heart now, Frankie. We'd want to reload this weapon anyway. And we'll go again.
I'm on it.
We can get Nora to here. And get her to reload.
Oh, good.
We might, if we're lucky. Oh, boys.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about.
That took a bit longer than anticipated. We've taken over a derelict building. We've gotten 267 money from the thugs and a cotton padded vest, which will give us some armor. We'll take the loot. We have some options as to what to do with the buildings. Destroy it. But we need a demolitionist. Smash it up so it doesn't reopen for a long time. Ransack it so we take everything, try and find some money or weapons, or we can take it over, which is what we're going to do, and we're going to convert it into a brewery. So that costs us some money. And now, probably the most important, the most thrilling part of the game. We can rename the buildings. I put a call out on the Maniacal Inc. Discord. We've actually created a channel for Empire of Sin. And the first thing that I've done is I've gone looking for names for brothels, for breweries, for speakeasies, for casinos. I was trying to think what the other thing is. So some of the users on the Discord, they've been putting ideas in there. So if you want it, there's a link below in the description. Head on over there if you have any suggestions for what, for silly names that you would like to see added to the game. But this one, our first brewery, I'm going to call the brewery St. James's Gate, after the Guinness Brewery in Dublin. It's St. Patrick's Day. How much Guinness is going to be drank today? Because surely there is nothing more Irish than a Guinness. Well, no. How wrong you are. The Guinness family, the Guinness company, were notoriously loyal to the British Empire. During the 1916 Rising that Frankie fought in, the Guinness company, St. James's Gate, provided trucks to the British Army. And the trucks were taken away to a train depot, and they were fitted with smokestacks. Or not smokestacks, smoke boxes. And these were used as armoured personnel carriers for the British to drive around the city and fire on the rebels. Now, the British didn't have any trained drivers for these trucks, so Guinness also provided them. And these vehicles were nicknamed Daimler Guinness APCs, Daimler Guinness Armour Personnel Carriers. During the First World War, again during 1916, Guinness would have encouraged its staff to join the British Army and fight in the First World War. If you were suspected of having Republican sympathies, you were sacked. They would fire you. So, Guinness, of course, many members of the family have titles, aristocratic titles, which have been bestowed upon them for their devotion and dedication to the empire. Guinness is, and Diageo, the modern manifestation of Guinness, is a very British company, but its advertising would tell you otherwise. So Frankie Donovan is naming his first brewery, the one that will store the guns which are destined for Ireland. He is going to name it after St. James's Gate, a bastion of the British Empire in Ireland.
Let's brew some booze.
So we get a message from Andy on setting up St. James's Gate. Good lad. That should be a handy place to hide a crate of machine guns. Much better than my aunt's kitchen. I'll have them moved in quick sharp. So this brewery is also going to contribute to our alcohol production. We don't make money from alcohol directly, but we can sell it in speakeasies. Does it show us? We have one speakeasy at the moment, so we should probably get some more. We got some rewards for that mission. We got $1,000, we got $100, and we got 10 notoriety. So we're on 16 at the moment, and we just need 45 before we can hire Cyril McCree. So we're back out on the streets in front of St. James's Gate. And we can see that we're kind of a bit distant from our main block of buildings, so I kind of want to try and connect up this strip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them run up this road, see is there any buildings here to take, and if not, this is a medium size building, if it's not even a large. I think it's a medium. So that's going to be more expensive to convert into something than this small building. So I'm going to, worst comes to worst, we're going to run around here, take this building, and we're going to see, hopefully, who these thugs are. So this is the White City Circus Guard. So that is Maggie Dyer's group. So maybe she owns these buildings. So we're gonna meet a mob boss. Before I do anything else, actually, what I will do is Frankie has 150 HP. Nora has 90. So I will give her this cotton padded vest. So that'll give her some armor.
You're asking for it.
So we have met Maggie Dyer of the White City Circus. We could either greet her, begin combat. Do you know what? We'll request a sit down. We'll request a sit down.
Sure, that'll do.
And we can see that a lot of this area is in her hands already.
It's a pleasure.
They're beeping the horn at me. We haven't even gone in the door to see her, and she's sending threats to us. Coming up in Fulton Market, we've taken one building, and she wants to charge us $2,000. You know what? We're going to say I'm not interested in deals right now. So she's kind of threatening us. We're gonna go in and talk to her.
Of course.
We're out in the middle of the road, causing a racket.
Frankie Donovan, today is your lucky day.
I do not know about that. And why is that? And it won't last forever. Let's skip the banter. So that's generally if you want to just avoid all of the dialogue that we're going to see. But let's see how it goes.
And why is that?
A lot of people would kill to get a sit down with me like this. A lot of people have. But you're putting on a good show over in the neighborhood. I like a good show.
You run White City Circus as a proper circus, as well as a crew.
You run White City Circus as a proper circus, as well as a crew, yeah?
Just giving the good people a good time however I can. I'm the ringmaster. Either way.
I'm a bit of a ringmaster myself. You're a clown. You're a clown.
You're a clown is what I heard.
Watch yourself, boy, or I'll introduce you to my lions.
Circuses are for children, sure. Well, it's the only option we have, really.
Circuses are for children. Are we going to talk like grown-ups?
You want to make things serious? They can be very serious. But I'll humor you because you make me laugh. I have an offer for you.
So usually when you meet these leaders for the first time, there's going to be a kind of a mutually beneficial offer. I think it's possibly they will actually apply their bonuses to you, and you apply your bonuses to them. So your empire bonuses. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
You're pretty new to the trade, so you may not realize how expensive it is to keep your brothel safe. But I can help with that. Good muscle who'll work cheap. As a favor to me, you see.
So cheaper security on the brothels.
Out of the goodness of your own heart, I'm sure.
I'm afraid not, Frankie. In return, you gotta help me up the productions in all my breweries.
So that's one of Frankie's empire benefits. Sure, I don't see why not.
All right, we have a deal.
You're as smart as you look, Frankie.
Is she insulting us?
I guess we both are, Maggie.
Oh. That was a good comeback. So we've entered into a temporary business arrangement. I've often seen it where you click accept and the arrangement is broken immediately. Like I said, hot code. Let's see now what this area looks like now that we know where she is. I think we're going to be concentrating up here, and then possibly we have another rival gang in this region. So it's going to be around the corner. We're going to take over this derelict building, and you know what? I think we're going to see about getting some cheap security. Or maybe a brothel. So here we are at that small building. We've so much facial hair. Oh, I don't know. Do I want to fight these men? Look at that for facial hair. We better fight them. We better fight them. I think the best man to bather is over here. And if we can get Frankie standing there, it'll give him a bit of cover.
I'm on it. Come here to me and I'll bait you.
I do often almost get myself into trouble by taking it for granted that, of course, Frankie is going to kill somebody. But do you know what? That was actually close. I don't think we'll hit the twice. If we do and crit. Frankie. Frankie. Okay, let's see if we can get her to here behind some cover and set off an Overwatch.
Assholes. Stupid jackasses.
Okay. And that's just indicating that Frankie is exhausted.
Sure thing.
If he hits twice.
Come here to me and I'll bet you.
Nicely done.
I'm coming for you.
Oh boys, a shotgun would do mighty work now. If we had a shotgun. What I might do is get him into... Yeah, we'll get him into the corner, see if it gives him some cover. We have to hunker down. The hunker down kind of increases her defensive capabilities. Maybe if we can get her to outflank him, can we?
Right away.
Ah. So that's actually another great development that's come about of recent, is the double fire. Because before, it would be fire, then pick another...
Yeah.
You'd have to fire
that's
each
what I'm
bullet
fucking
individually,
talking about.
basically. So they've now set it up that if you don't want to move, if all you want to do is shoot, fire away. 519 money received. We will take the loot. We will take over. And we are going to set up, I think I said we were going to set up a brothel. Now, I have a big list of names for brothels. It's probably the longest and most impressive list that I've gotten, but I'm always looking for more, and if I do start maybe a playthrough with another character like Dino Banyan, I'll need more, so if you want to drop those in the Discord, you'll find the links below in the description. To start off, it's almost a tradition at this stage that I call the first brothel the Rose of Tralee.
Ah, this is more my kind of place.
I'd say we'll be in trouble trying to get Frankie out the door. Now, look at the walls. Lads. You couldn't be bringing anyone in here. Sure, this place is a wreck. It's a disaster. And look at the military uniforms that they have. I mean, he's only keeping what little of his pants he has on him with a rope. This place is an absolute wreck. We're going to have to do something about this. So we come up here to our finance. And we have our rackets. The cellar must be the other speakeasy that we actually start the game with. Here is the Rose of Tralee. And we were told that we would get cheaper security. So I think that's a bit... Is that a bit reduced in price? We'll say so. So we're going to upgrade. That puts more security inside the building and out the front of it. For which, for me, that's more important. Because if we end up in a gang war... our outside security might help us if we're either chasing down members of the other gang, more than likely Maggie's gang, or security inside will help if the building comes under attack. Deflect makes the raids from the cops less likely. Ambiance is wallpaper. Basically, it's wallpaper. It increases income. It increases the value, and I think it slightly increases draw, or maybe the next one will increase draw, and then of course we could rush these, get them finished quickly, but I won't do that. And the other one then is word of mouth, which is again, it increases draw, which will basically attract more patrons. I think, you know what? Yeah, we have the cash. We'll start doing it for now. Here's the Donovan's safe house. I'll upgrade the security there. The cellar is on 2 security, so I'll leave that for now. Northern Garage I will upgrade, and St. James's Gate. And we also have the ability then to change or to upgrade the amount of alcohol we produce, and the quality, and the storage. So at the moment, I'd say we're producing swill And the region that we are in would like top shelf. And we're supplying rack, even though we're not actually producing any. So I might put this place producing rack. So you can see here there's poison, which is the lowest. It has the least amount of people enjoy drinking poison. Do you know they haven't been able to do good market tests in it? Because it's like you give it to somebody and then they don't fill out the questionnaire afterwards. So you don't really know whether people like it or not. Then you have swill, rack, bottles, fancy bottles that have been buried in Egypt. Also bottles, I don't know what any of these are. Right, let's get out of here. The Rosa Tralee, we'll let them wallpaper the Rosa Tralee and turn it into the finest establishment in Chicago, and we'll be back. So if we keep ourselves pointing north, here is our kind of starting area. Here is the Rosa Tralee, which we just set up. Here is that brewery, poor old St. James's Gate, way on the outskirts. So right here next to our safe house, we can see there are 2 derelict buildings, thug-owned. So what I'm going to do is try and incorporate them into our ever-growing empire of saints and sinners. Maybe if I unpause the game, that might help.
Right away. I'm gonna batter you.
Fantastic shooting there by Frankie. Frankie has been massively nerfed since the early versions of the game. He was described as a 5 times marksman. Not too sure what that means. But his marksmanship was 99. It's now been nerfed down to like 75 or 76 or something. But that was absolutely insane. We'll get Nora over here. Hopefully into cover. And put her on the door. But that was great shooting by him. There he is. He's just telling us he's tired. He's exhausted. That lad has put himself in a very bad position. Good luck to you. And we might very well again be able to utilize this Overwatch if this guy needs to run in. Oh, he just got around it.
Of course.
59 to hit.
Come here to me.
And there he goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about.
So we picked ourselves up a shotgun, which is handy. Because I have been... there's been a couple of occasions where there's been a couple of guys grouped together, and you can do a kind of a burst shot with the shotgun. So we're gonna take the loot, 600 quid. We're going to take over this building, and we are going to set it up. It's the one and only thing we don't have. Well, okay, we don't have hotels either. We're going to set up a casino. And from my list of names, I pull Ermwin on the pig's back.
We better not catch anyone cheating in here.
So we've actually completed a quest. I forgot about that. We got 100 quid and 5 notoriety for taking control of 10 rackets. Oh no, for taking control of 5. Now we need to take control of 10. I'm going to do my usual spiel of coming up here very quickly and taking a look at Ermwin. It's telling us it's not performing as well. It's competing, but the other places are full. The cellar and the Rosa Tralee. So we're going to upgrade the security. And for now, do you know what? We might do games as well, which will increase the income. The thing about casinos is they have very erratic income. So this week we're making 177. Next week we could be losing 177. We could also end up with really big winners who will take a lot of money from us, or really big losers who will give us a lot of money. So we've just stuck our head outside the door of Ermwin, and a stranger propositions us. He hands us a note, and it says, "Heard about you. Trying to get your foot in the door, eh? Well, listen up. Them lousy BOI punks. BOI. The Bank of Ireland? Them lousy Bank of Ireland punks are going to be busting in the doors at the end of the month, and the cellar in Fulton Market is on their list. I can't help you out, but you gotta do something for me. Or I can help you out, but you gotta do something for me. So the Bank of Ireland are coming for our starting pub. So this guy, if we take care of Eddie Calhoun, take him out, buy him some drinks, maybe take him to Ermwin and Wicca, down to the Rosa Tralee. So if we take care of him, then they will sort out our problem with the Bank of Ireland. Maybe he's an executive or something with the Bank of Ireland. So we're gonna look for that.
Sure
Where
thing.
exactly is? There's Northern Garage.
Pipe down, will ya?
Fantastic. Delighted with that. We have met Dean O'Banion, an Irish-American gangster. That's awesome. So we're going to request a sit-down with him.
Sure. Fair.
And look at that. He's only... Oh, lads. That's terrible. Jesus. Sure, we can't tell the difference. That's reckless. So I think we'll deal with... Is this the south side? Or not the south side. There's the cellar. We'll deal with the cellar first of all. And then we'll come across to Dean. And we'll see... Oh, we've been getting the paint. Somebody's been selling us the paint cheaply from the same place. So we're in the door of the cellar. There's a gangster here that we could hire if we wanted to. And we're looking for Eddie. Now what I should have done is actually put I think I'll have to do it, won't I? I'll have to put the actual mission... Yeah, we'll have to go and look for the mission. And it'll now tell us who Eddie is, I hope. Over there. I would have found him eventually.
I'm on it.
What are you looking at? Sorry, Eddie. I gotta put you down. Oh. When they said take care of him, they meant... Oh. Sorry, Eddie. No hard feelings. So, again, we'd have a fantastic chance of taking him out in one shot. Or of auto-resolving.
Jackasses.
We have a form of auto-resolve. It's called Macharabiog.
On it.
I'm gonna break your face in.
Yeah! That's what I'm fucking talking about.
And just like that, we take the loot. So this is one of our own places. One of our own establishments. Everyone's running out the door.
I'm on it.
Everyone's running out the door. And out on the streets, we see a shady stranger.
Sure thing.
Our mothers told us not to speak to shady strangers, but let's go and talk to this guy. He's looking for Eddie Calhoun. Oh god, no. There's a shareholders meeting on. Ed's dead, friend. That's all. Can't... Hello, officer. Nice day. So this guy's going to give us something that belongs to Eddie. We'll just say sure, thanks. And he tells us that the cellar is looking pretty sharp these days. I hear it's gotten real discreet. We'll go and check it out. So we receive a waistcoat and a watch. And the deflection in the cellar has now gone up by 5. So the place is going to be very hard to for it to be raided by the cops. I won't say it's going to be very hard, but basically the chances of a raid have gone down. Well, look at this. Dean O'Banion wants to meet us in a brothel. After all that he does be saying about that he hates brothels, we're inside a brothel meeting him.
Good to see someone from the old country. Is there a Mrs. Donovan, Frankie? You should come by my flower shop after. Get some for your lady.
So they do really play into the fact that O'Banion loved flowers. O'Banion had warned all of the... Well, he hadn't warned, but he was kind of paying the hospitals in the local area that if anyone from the area that he grew up in was admitted to hospital, they were to tell him and he would send them flowers. So he really did love flowers. And it got him killed in the end. Just me, Dean. Dion. So the newspapers used to spell his name this way, but his family has no idea. After he was killed, his family and friends came out and said they have no idea where the newspapers got this idea of calling him Dion, or spelling Dean as Dion. I thought the game had actually corrected this at one stage, but maybe not. Just be Dean, but they're lovely.
Just me, Dean. But, they're lovely.
Ah, cripes, you're making me cry over here. That explains why you're so busy up in the neighborhood, trying to keep your mind occupied. But maybe I can be your friend. Just don't go getting the wrong idea now.
If a man takes you to a brothel and asks you to be his friend, I'd say the wrong ideas are the only ideas you'll be getting. I don't know, Dean. Sounds like you might be getting the wrong idea. Exactly.
I don't know, Dean. It sounds like you might be getting the wrong idea. I'm doing fine by myself.
Ah, don't go getting worked up. I heard about your brother over in Ireland. It's bad news. But that happens when you're fighting for what's yours, right? You got more family at home? You providing for them?
Do you know what? Dean is about the only person that actually cares a damn about Ireland that I've seen so far. So a brother, 7 sisters, doing what I can for them. Why? You want to do an arrangement for them too? Or we can just skip. A brother and 7 sisters.
A brother, 7 sisters. I'm doing what I can for them.
Right. You gotta watch out for them. In this game, you never know what's gonna happen. People die in this town all the time. But it does work out for me, though. Gangsters are flamboyant by nature. Every funeral has more flowers than the gardens of Babylon.
I'm touched, Dean.
I'm touched, Dean. But I'd rather talk business than family.
That brooch.
All right, then. About time. You want to be a bootlegger, you gotta take care of your breweries. Take care of the soil to take care of the flowers, right? We partner up. I can use my connections to bring down the upkeep costs for you. You help me get my breweries producing more hooch, and we're golden.
So what's he offering here? The upkeep on breweries. At the moment, I don't have, and I probably won't for a while, have a lot of breweries up and running. But it sounds like a deal for now.
We have a deal.
All right. A deal. Great. Give me a home address. I'll send you on that bouquet.
He would love the Rose of Tralee.
I'll pop into the shop sometime and pick it up in person, Dean.
We should take Dean down to the Rose of Tralee. So we have a temporary business arrangement. Brewery upkeep goes down by 3%. Speakeasy ambiance cost goes down by 4%. That's actually much better. Speaking of speakeasies, let's head across the road and attack this building. To prevent Dean from pushing in any direction that we don't want him to go in. The prosperity in the area has changed, so now the people want a different type of booze that we also can't produce. Okay, and we have another 4 people to fight.
Come here to me.
Just about. So the logic there was that either he would hit with 1 shot and Nora could finish him off, or he would hit with both shots. And Nora is now in a position, I would hope, where she can. We could... We'll get her to over here anyway, one way or another.
Understood.
And she could either hit for 72% chance. I think an owl Overwatch might be a bit better. I think that guy's going to have to move one way or another.
Moving.
So Frankie has pretty much right in the head. That guy got himself into a bad position.
That's what I'm fucking talking about.
Nicely done. Can't complain about that. We will take the loot. We will take over the building. We're going to go for a speakeasy this time to start consuming some more of the alcohol that we're producing. We could go for a hotel. They will increase the available customers in the neighbourhood, and they also double the neighbourhood combination bonuses. So there are all these kind of synergies that you get. I think for now, we might go with the speakeasy, and the next thing we'll do will be the hotel, but I want to kind of put that into another small building. We will confirm. So this is actually one of the ones that's auto-generated by the game. Unchak Ol, the drink house. Do you know what? Will we leave it? We won't. I'm going to change it to my preferred starting speakeasy name. And that is, of course, Slointe, where everybody knows your name.
First round's on me, boys.
That sounds like a great offer, but it's not, because we're only producing swill at the moment. We've completed a mission. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I don't know what that was. So what that mission was is that we got a maid gangster. It's kind of just a bit of a promotion for Nora. So I'm going to come into Slointe, and I'm going to upgrade the word of mouth and the ambiance. And do you know what? I'll rush the ambiance. What it does, it actually reloads the place. So they did a paint job all in one go. I'll hold off on upping the security for just for now. So the place, God, they spruced the place up a lot. They spruced it up a lot. It looks a lot better. They got a band in and all. Fantastic. There's Neil and Janet and Derek. Oh, Miguel is here as well. I thought he left. Did he not leave? No. They just left a crate in the corner. Not going to ask no questions about that crate.
Right away.
So we can see that the place is filling up a bit. Now we've all this region is kind of coated in now. Here's a couple of buildings that we might come and take over. We are running a bit low on money, and we do have something that we need to do. We do pretty much need to do it. I see we're at 49 notoriety, so we can come over to our black book, and here we can see we have opened up Cyril McCrae, or McCree, and we have opened up as well Clyde Two-Ton Malone. We're going to come first of all to Cyril.
Hi there.
He's a hired gun. Upfront cost is $2,500, which we can just about make. He'll be taking $300 a week, so he's going to knock us down a lot. And like I said, that's also with our very variable casino income. Come and take a look at Cyril. He grew up in Skibbereen with his father Cornelius, who insisted that his son learn to defend himself. During a shooting session one day, Cyril was started by a flock of birds and accidentally shot his father in the leg. Cornelius was so angry with Cyril that he sent him across the Irish Sea to New York to learn to make something of himself. Cyril found his footing by falling in with the local gangs, who marvelled at his skills with a rifle and his ability to shoot anyone in the leg. A child of some privilege in his native Ireland, Cyril McCrae, we'll go with McCrae, stayed in school long enough to be instilled with the values of kindness, religion, heart, and always keeping one's word, just in time to embark on a life of crime. Any parents that are watching, this is a very important lesson. If your children ever make a mistake, get rid of them. Put them on a boat, pint it towards America. If you're in America, I don't know what you do, but just away. They're gone, they're broke, they're no good. Can't fix them. Send them off. Somebody will hire them. Look, you see? It's working out fine. Cyril's been hired by us.
I will, of course.
So we get a... our notoriety has gone up to 50 now. I think just for hiring Cyril. Oh, gee. I'll never get over that. We have two options for Cyril. Take a shot at a target, and if it hits, it strips some armor from them. Or mark the target. I do like this one. We will confirm.
That's cracking!
And while we were upgrading Cyril, Nora is after getting a new skill. I think I will give her surgical precision. I do like this one. There's a 10% chance that she will crit, and a 55% chance to cause the target to bleed, which is fantastic. So we'll give her that one.
Oh, good.
If we can actually see where the gang has gotten themselves, they've joined up with Cyril. Look at him running around. We can actually get her to
Understood.
Heal Frankie. So Frankie's taking a
Let's
little bit.
do this.
Frankie, come
Right
back.
away.
Frankie, you need to be healed. So what I'm doing at the moment is I just
Sure
have
thing.
them running. Running around. We receive a message from Henry at one of our breweries. You really need to come down here. It's urgent. Okay. That sounds suspicious. So what I was going to do is I was going to come down here and attack Big Jim's stash. Do you know what? I think we'll do that first of all anyway. We'll introduce Cyril to the gang. So you can find these boxes kind of spread out around the city. They belong to Big Jim. He's lost most of them. And there's gangsters protecting him. And what we can do is we'll bring him in and ambush. So we've kind of taken them by surprise. They weren't expecting this at all.
Of course. I'm gonna batter you.
You know what? I said this was going to be Cyril's first day on the job. It's highly likely Cyril isn't actually going to get to do anything.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I'm fucking talking about.
there you go. Cyril, you'll be expected to do that in future as well. And the reason is that we want to open this crate. Okay. We found some brass knuckles. 10% chance to knock enemies back, 30% chance to crit. If nothing else, they're worth some money, and we have found some wizard oil. 50% chance to resist all negative effects for 3 rounds. So we've done a bit of a cross-country run. We've made it back down to St. James's Gate, where Henry wants to talk to us about something. There's probably a mouse or something like that running around the place. Probably something small. We'll deal with that on the next episode. I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for joining me. Like I said at the start, a very happy St. Patrick's Day to you. If you're catching this episode on the day that it comes out. If not, happy Irish American Heritage Month, or happy whatever day of the week it is if it's not March. Make sure to like, to comment. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. Because I've been told that if you haven't subscribed to this channel, Frankie Donovan is going to come around to your house and he's going to bash your head in with a come on. That's not me. That's not me that's saying that. It's just been passed on to me. There's nothing I can do. I've tried to stop him. I just think it would be best. I think it would be best if you just subscribed. Thank you for joining me on this episode. I'll catch you again in future.